So Catherine, welcome. It's great to have you. And
over
the years,
Thank you, Chris.
Well, over the years, you've scrutinised my work a few times, so now it's my turn to ask the questions. Now, Catherine's book really gets right to the heart of the monarchy, exploring the biblical roots of kingship and how the Queen's role as defender of the faith is evolving in a multi-faith and increasingly secular Britain. In this week's tablet, she's written the cover feature, which looks at the changing relationship between the Crown and the Catholic Church during Her Majesty the Queen's reign, but also since the Reformation. So there's a lot of very interesting detail about the monarchy and the Catholic Church, which I really recommend. But while the contours of religious belief among Britain has changed rapidly throughout the last 70 years, the constancy of the Queen's faith has been one of the distinguishing features. And what Catherine really shows in the book is how deeply this is intertwined with monarchy. So Catherine, the title of the book is Defenders of the Faith. That title, I believe, was given by Pope Leo X to King Henry VIII. Can you tell us a bit about that title and what that means to the Queen today?
Thank you, Chris. First of all, I'm delighted to be able to show you the book because it just arrived today. The title, I've called it Defenders of the Faith because it's looking at the monarchy. So I look at the monarchs since Henry VIII, who have in fact all held that title. And of course, there's a certain irony in it because the monarchs since Henry, they vow at their coronations to uphold the Protestant religion. But this title, as you rightly say, is one that was given to Henry VIII by the Pope, and he gave it to Henry because he was so delighted with Henry's defence of the Roman Catholic Church against Martin Luther, rebutting Martin Luther and writing a treatise which was in defence of the seven sacraments. Some people think that its theology owed something to John Fisher, who helped Henry with this. But as we know, John Fisher, of course, eventually lost his life. He was executed for his continuing loyalty to the Catholic Church. But when Henry broke away from Rome, he hung on to the title. I think the Catholic Church tried to take it away, but British monarchs have had it ever since.
And when we go down to the younger generations, the younger royals, you say in the book that character matters for a monarch. Now, for the younger royals, they obviously go to church, the Duke and Duchess in Cambridge and their family, we see them there. But it's not clear if it's a personal conviction, their faith, and perhaps a cultural affiliation with Christianity. Does that affect the future of the royal family, given the importance that the Queen's faith has been to her as a constant kind of foundation for her? Is the fact that the younger royals may be a bit more lukewarm about faith, does that affect the future?
I think things will be different. We have, of course, have what you might call the in-between reign of Charles coming, who's somebody who I feel is drawing closer to the Church of England. William has been raised in quite a traditional way. He's at Eton, etc., where there's quite an emphasis, as I understand it, on religious education and the preparation of boys for confirmation.
Moving to the question of the coronation, which you look at in the book, and what that might be like in the future. And I remember listening to John Hall, the former Dean of Westminster Abbey, talking about the coronation ceremony. He gave a seminar in Rome, and it struck me that this is really very much like a sacrament.
Yes.
And you spoke to John Hall for your book. What do you think a future coronation ceremony will will look like in terms of that sacramental side.
Yes. One of the things about the coronation is because we've all seen at least bits of that film from 1953, we think, well, that's it. That's what the coronation is like. And lots of people say, well, it can't be like that again. It's too old-fashioned or whatever. When you look at the history of the coronation, it both stays the same and changes. So there are certain things which are always there and always at its heart. Tenor of it will change because it's going to be a very different person. Elizabeth II was crowned in her mid-20s, this young woman. So she goes to the coronation, she's dressed in these extraordinary robes, and she's seen again in them later. But when she has that anointing, those are removed, and she's there in just a simple white shift. And it seems very sacrificial. And her youth plays into that. I don't think it will have quite that same feeling about it when it's an elderly man, which is what it will be next time.
Yes, thank you, Christopher. We're just wondering, anyway, on behalf of both of us, Catherine, just thinking about what you were saying earlier about the Queen's, let's call it her millennium experience, and what's flowed from that over the last 20 years or so. Does it demonstrate, in fact, that a substantive Anglican, or let's say Christian faith, is actually essential to the English monarchy? It's actually essential, and if that doesn't appear or materialize, then we might have a crisis in the monarchy.
If you think that part of your job is to look beyond what you're about, that you are there to serve something greater than you, it kind of keeps your feet on the ground. There's a certain humility that comes with that. So I think if you lack that, it affects how you perceive yourself. And so there's a way in which our monarchs having that faith keeps them more humble.
Which is why I think your book is very important, because it gets behind the kind of externals of monarchy and goes to the heart of what it is really about, and the principles that underlie it that go beyond just one person. Yes,
it does go beyond one person, and she knows that. She's somebody who knows that more than most, and I think her accession statement about Charles and Camilla being Queen Consort, you saw that. And one thing I wanted to do, I'm as guilty as many other people reading Daily Mail stories about what Meghan's up to, but that's soap opera, and there's a lot more to monarchy than soap opera, and so that's why I wanted to write about it in this way.
Well, Catherine, thank you so much for sharing your insights and talking about the book. It's called Defenders of the Faith, and it's available in all good bookstores.